I know that out there on the internet, if you scroll around, you see a lot of information on why it's important to not get into a relationship, why it's important to avoid marriage, all the negative things about women, all the bad things you can encounter if you get locked into a long term situation. Marriage is bad, men are unhappy, women are controlling, they ruin your life, they sue you. But there's actually a lot of different things that women bring to the table that can contribute positively to your life. And the people that go through all these things and all these negative interactions with women, it's honestly, it's because they're picking wrong. And there are some ways to know if you're picking the right person. There are some ways to vet and to give yourself a little bit more security in regards to how careful you are in the selection process. You can't just willy nilly go out there and give anybody a title, give anybody a marriage, or just pursue the streets like you don't have any kind of guidance or any kind of structure about the way you're going to go about it. Today, I wanted to offer something different. I wanted to talk about the positives that a woman can bring to your life because everywhere I look, with the red pill, with the manosphere, all these different areas where you find people who are hurt and who are bitter and who went through all these negative things, they don't seem to come out on the other side with anything positive to say. And I actually went through everything they're talking about. I've gone through the child support thing. I've gone through parental alienation. I've gone through people telling me to see them in court. I've gone through STD scares. I've gone through pregnancy scares. I've had all of these things happen to me. And I think that they just have more of a negative mindset and they can't extract the positive out of these situations. Because for me, yeah, I had my phases where I was upset. I had my phases where I looked at everybody as women in general are dangerous and scary and attack you and put your life in danger. But I got through that because ultimately the mindset a man's supposed to have is you're supposed to look at everything as life happens in order to make you a better person. It happens for you, it doesn't happen to you. And you're supposed to find different ways to take responsibility for all the things that happen to you. If you never take responsibility for your part in negative things or your part in the demise of any situation, you never learn from it because you stay a victim. And that's something that women actually struggle with is they remain in a victim mindset. And that's easy to do for them because they're the weaker gender. Society tells them that men are dominant, so they always feel like they're inferior. So naturally, they don't take accountability for their actions. But as men, you have to find a way to put yourself in front of a mirror and look at you as what did I do to put myself in that situation? So today I wanted to talk about a few things that women do that are actually really positive for you. And obviously, when I talk about these things, it's the right woman with the right temperament for you. Like my woman wouldn't do good with certain men, you know? Your woman wouldn't do good with me. Maybe you need a different temperament, a different fighting style. So you got to find the person that works for you. And with that, in order to do that, you got to know yourself and know what you need. Like I know exactly the type of person I need, the type of woman I need by my side, and that's why my selection process has been really selective, to say the least. You know, I often tell my girl that there's probably about six of you per city, because it's when I say that I mean there's probably about six people that would work well with me as a man because I have certain requirements. Well, I won't even say requirements. I just have certain things I can't deal with, and I'm not the type of person that's going to settle because my mindset is I'd rather be by myself than to settle. And people say that, but like, you know, not a lot of people really mean that. A lot of women say they would rather settle than to be with the wrong man. But when they turn 47, they're picking just about anybody who's willing to pay half the mortgage. So you got to really say it with your chest and mean what you're saying, or you end up actually putting yourself in a worse situation as well. Anyway, some of the things that a woman brings that are positive to your life. And I'll use myself as an example, and I don't mean to toot my own horn. I don't know for a fact that my relationship is going to last forever. I don't know anything to be 100% true. Everything in my life, like I tell my woman, is 99%. No matter how sure I am, I'm always going to have that 1% doubt or that 1% understanding that anything is possible. People go crazy and people lose their whole shit and crash out because they never consider that there's a 1% chance that while you're on deployment, your wife's laying down with somebody else. I consider these things and I accept them as a reality. And I put safeguards up to where if that did happen, I wouldn't react in a crazy way. I would say, okay, I understand this. I understand why it happened, and I'm going to move forward in this way. There's no crashing out. There's no yelling, raising of my voice, or none of that stuff. But that's because I have an understanding that anything's possible, and you don't truly know anyone because you're not God. So let's get into it. One of the things that my woman brings me that is invaluable to me is she brings me peace. And a lot of people say that. You've heard that before. You've heard plenty of men say that a woman brings you peace or the right woman brings you peace. But I'll be specific. She takes away the urge for me to want to pursue other women. She takes away the urge for me to want to get back on dating apps. She takes away the urge for me to want to be promiscuous. It's the first woman I've been with to where I don't want to go back outside. I don't want to feel anybody else's body. I'm completely content. And it's a liberating feeling and a divine feeling to know that this person is my person. This body is my body. And it's nice to feel that I'm giving myself exclusively to her. And that's never happened for me before. I've always, in every relationship, I've always had a wandering eye. Well, for the most part. I would say in the beginning of the long relationship I was in, which was the 10-year one, I went through, in the beginning stages, I went through a period where I couldn't see anyone else. But that's like teenage love and stuff like that. You don't expect to actually have that when you're 30 something years old. But right now I have the same thing to where I don't have a desire to be with anybody else. I stay away from women. I see them doing little things like flirting and small little advances and stuff like that, or positioning themselves around me, and I walk away from it. And normally guys, even when they're in relationships, they're not doing that. But that's because they don't truly have that peace that they're seeking. So when I talk about my girl bringing me peace, that's what I mean. She takes away the urge to go back out there and to pursue anything in an aggressive fashion, or to even put myself in a position to be pursued. Another thing my girl brings me is motivation. And for me, this is a unique one because I consider myself successful. I'm doing something that I like to do. It's impactful, it helps the community, and I make money in a couple of different ways. I'm self sufficient, so I can take care of my bills and whatnot, and I have enough money to do what I need to do in life. I grew up in essentially a third world country. I'm not materialistic. I'm sure you guys have noticed I'm always wearing a black shirt. I wear other stuff, but I actually pretty much only wear other colors when I'm on a date night with my girl. Otherwise, I'm just always basically in uniform because I don't really live to impress people, or I don't really care about fashion or jewelry or anything like that. So for me, she really gives me a specific type of motivation by way of me not necessarily chasing dreams and chasing things to give myself more materialistic things, but she gives me a passion to want to do things so that I can provide a life for her to where she can relax and she doesn't have to do anything. And we're almost there, but like we're months away from that being the case. But even when we achieve that, I want to go past that. I want to make it to where she can completely relax because in my mind, like I truly believe she deserves that. She doesn't crave it, she doesn't need it, but she appreciates the fact that I want to put her in that position. And that motivates me. And by default, I'll get more things out of that. I'll get a bigger space. We're looking into getting a house soon. So by default, I'll benefit from that. But I didn't need anything. Like before I met her, I always joked with my friend that I would probably, live in a like a 2 or 3 bedroom house, or an apartment. Before she entered my life, I just wanted a simple life for the most part. I'm a minimalist, so I don't like a lot of things. Actually, the less I have makes me happier because it almost gives me more of a space to create when I have less clutter in my life. But with her being there, I want to be able to see the world and all these things that I never really cared to do. Like I've traveled and stuff already and I've done a lot of it by myself. Nothing's been that exciting for me. Like nothing's as fun when you're doing it alone. It hasn't been some sort of thrilling experience to get on a plane and get in first class and go to Hawaii and walk around Waikiki by myself. That didn't really bring me a lot of joy. I realized that I experienced a lot of my joy through other people. I experienced joy through my kids and putting them in a happy situation. I experienced joy through my woman and seeing her happy and seeing her comfortable and knowing that while I'm at work, she's laying at the pool and she's getting a tan. That makes me happy. I don't know about everybody else, but that's really where the source of my happiness comes from. It's not from me getting materialistic things or any of that. It's from, I'm about to grab my kids real quick. Thank you. Hey, hey, thank you. All right. No, you're good. I'm just gonna finish up this video, okay? And then I'll talk to you guys. All right. He's silly. He's like, Daddy, what are you talking about? Yeah. So what I realized after getting the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, I realized that it's a lot more motivating to do things for other people than it is for me because I don't really need much. I don't need much, not a lot of things like pull at my desires or anything like that. So having her gives me like bigger goals to shoot for. So now when I think about the house we want, I think about what I want, but I'm like, why not strive to get things that she wants as well? So why not get more space if I can afford that? Why not get a bigger yard if it makes everybody else happy? So I won't stop there. I'll keep going. And I've always known I'd be a millionaire. I've always known that I'd be successful, but I never had such a drive to accomplish it in such a short period of time. So now when I wake up in the morning, what I think about is how many problems I can solve and how fast can I solve them. Because the faster I solve them is the more opportunity to make money, and time is money. So I think about what I can do for everybody else rather than doing for myself. Long story short, she motivates me. She pushes me to do more for our family, to do more to put us in a better situation, to travel. All these things that doing it by yourself, it's not that fun. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, well, you could do that by yourself or you could do it with other girls. But with other girls, it's not as fun because you don't get to keep those memories. I did that too. I traveled with other people too. And the thing with those other girls is you in the back of your mind as a man, you know that this girl won't be here in a couple of years. This girl won't be here in 5 months. So you guys don't really get to share that memory. You don't get to talk about, yo, you remember the time when we did this and we climbed that wall and we jumped in a thing and we did that. You don't have those anymore. All you have is a bunch of memories for yourself that you can't even really talk about in detail with the next woman because you'll be talking about dates and times you had and experiences you had with somebody else and they're not trying to hear that. So you basically bury them because you're not really reinforcing those things in your memory bank because you're not talking about them. You don't really go back and look at all the pictures of them because you probably don't keep them because there's no point in like going and looking back at people you used to deal with. And as men, we don't do that anyway. We keep it pushing. So it's just a bunch of empty memories. Another big way she contributes to my life, other than the typical stuff you guys will hear, because I mean, I could obviously go into she cooks, she cleans. My daughter and my son like her food. They enjoy her company. She brings feminine energies to the house. She does the little things. And to be honest, I haven't asked her to do anything. I know a lot of you guys believe you gotta give a woman like a manual and tell her what to do and put her in her place and all that stuff. But when you find the right woman, you can kind of just fall back and let her do her thing. And she'll do it with more love, appreciation. She'll do it on her own time. And when women do things out of love rather than feeling like they're obligated to do it, you put them in a much better situation. You give them back their self respect and their pride. It's really degrading to feel like someone's making you do certain tasks just because you're in the position of wife. She should want to do those things because she loves you and she wants to take care of you. But the biggest thing my woman brings to my life is she keeps me safe. She makes me want to come home. And that's really important for a man because every time you leave that door, you're putting yourself at risk. Every time you walk out of the door, you can get arrested, you can get killed, especially as a black man. There could be an altercation. It's war out there for us. And I'm not speaking for just being a black man or anything like that, but just being a man in general and trying to be successful, especially with jealousy and hate and envy and all that stuff just kind of sitting there. It's really important that you want to go back home. It's really important that on your way home, you don't want to stop at the bar. After work, I don't want to stop anywhere. I want to get home. I want to hop on Netflix. And obviously, I'm speaking for when the job is done, right? I still go to the gym. I still have a regimen, all these things. So you can't just succumb to it and just feel like you got to be in a comfort zone 24/7. But your home should represent comfortability. Your woman should make you want to come back home and relax and have a meal, sit down and decompress, talk about your day. Maybe she'll rub your head. Maybe she'll give you a facial, little things like that. It brings you a lot of peace. It gives you energy. So I'll get home about 2:33. We'll relax for a little bit, and it'll give me just enough energy to get back up and get out there, go to the gym, do my leg workout, come back home. She's got dinner ready, lay down, watch a movie, and then relax, fall asleep. So, and I'm a routine person, so all of this is nice for me. Like it's comfortable. It works. It feels good. I don't miss the days when my phone would go off and things would be pulling at my attention 24/7. I don't miss the days when I would come back home at 4 a.m. after having drinks, just trying to make sure that I toe the line and get home and not get in trouble. I don't miss the days of risking my life. I don't miss the days of being outside late. I feel safer. I feel more mature. I feel like a grown man. And those are some positive things. If you guys have some more positive things you want to talk about or mention, put it in the comments. But I think messages like this need to go out more too. And not from somebody who's just some goofball dude who's just like some type of simp who's just wants a woman and sees women as, you know, special and perfect and all that kind of stuff. I don't. But I believe if you find your person and you know how to vet and assess their character, you can find a good one. And I believe that there's a certain percentage of good ones for you in every city. So just wanted to talk about that, change the pace a little bit. I don't want people to think this channel is about bashing women or not appreciating them for who they are. But you just got to be informed and you got to know how to move. And that's what I want everybody to understand.